Okay, so let's get into it. We've got our Anna here. You said this was console?
And you are
It's
looking
console,
as
yes.
Okay.
lovely as ever.
What system are you playing on, just out of curiosity?
What? PlayStation.
Okay,
PS4.
okay.
Yeah.
Fair, fair. Haven't been able to win out that PS5 yet, then I take it, in terms of beating the boss.
Yeah,
But hey.
there's a chip shortage, so that's gonna be a thing.
Yep. Okay, so you're pushing out here. You are set up with a Lucio as your partner support. You've got a Rhine and a Hog to work around as your tank line. No problem. Gonna have to pay a little more attention to this guy than normal because obviously Lucio certainly won't be getting a ton of echo healing done. But no problem. Okay, so not a big deal here. We are set up. We go like this, and we immediately see this. You're pushing up. Now, where are your tanks?
I think they're in the back. Where I thought they would have been running with the Lucio because we have a run.
Okay, that's fine. They're just a little bit behind you. There may have been a little bit of like a AFK, slow on the start, whatever. It's not a huge deal. It's just something you need to be aware of because currently you're ahead of your tank line. You're not seriously in the fight right now, so not a big deal. But we're not going to want to go much more into this before we have them. Okay, so the first shot on the D.Va, no problem. We'd then like to see a shot on the Mercy. Are you ever going to actually take down this D.Va?
With this shot, no.
Right, right. It would take you like your whole clip to even think about it, and there's a Mercy attached to her. So we need to be getting some shots onto the Mercy now that she's available. Obviously, she's going behind cover now, so we may not actually get a chance, but we would like to put our shot into the squishy rather than tank. Shooting the tank is fine when there's nothing better, but we can actually eliminate or threaten to eliminate squishies. We really can't on the tanks. Sure. I say that, and this is good, but there isn't really a reason to stop shooting here, right? Like, if D.Va stays as a target, there you go, good. Okay. So you angled out here pretty hard. We go here. And this is good. And you've got a path between the cover and the Reinhardt that you can send shots down, that you could send a sleep down, that you could send a nade down. And it would be pretty easy to send a nade into this without, like, accidentally hitting your Reinhardt or anything, right?
I thought there was a shield up, so that's why I held it. I thought
Oh, sure.
the Orisa shield. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that Orisa shield, but I'm not interested necessarily in nading the Orisa. I'm interested in, can I throw a nade here and potentially
Okay,
get the
awesome.
BAP, the D.Va, the Mercy? Maybe not. Maybe I'm too worried about this D.Va, and this D.Va's gonna DM it, right? Like, that could be a problem. So that's something that we'd think about. But I bet you this D.Va's about to turn around for this Reaper. So, like, in an instant, there's gonna be a chance to get a nade off. And I probably don't. Oh, D.Va just got hooked. So can D.Va nade anymore? Or can D.Va eat nade anymore? Okay. So what are you going to do? Where are you going to nade now that D.Va's been hooked?
And nade where she's getting hit to.
Exactly. That's going to nade her so that she can't get healed. It'll help your hog finish her off. It'll make it easier to heal your hog if he's in danger. He shouldn't be right now. You got it. Do you need to be angled this far out, though? Is there really a reason to be standing right here?
Well, the Reaper's back there, so, and he's in the middle of everything.
Sure. But is being over here better, really, than being, say, right here?
Oh, no, probably not.
Right.
I don't know.
We've just made ourselves a little more vulnerable. If our Reinhardt drops his shield and the enemies start shooting at us, like, we don't control whether Reinhardt puts his shield up or not, and they get to shoot at us, and they could easily shoot at us like twice more, or 3 times more before we got behind cover from here, right?
Right.
So our survival at this point is based on the opponents, based on our Reinhardt continuing to hold his shield up, which he actually shouldn't be doing right now, and the opponents missing some shots. We don't really want our survival to be based on the opponents missing shots.
Get back in the fight.
Okay. Okay. So we could have dealt with this a little bit faster. I don't mind that you're trying to shoot the BAP here, but you hear that Tracer? You still hear that tracer. We
Oh
probably want
yeah.
to check on that tracer before just trying to put damage into the BAP, right?
Right.
Okay.
The objective is now.
I think I was looking for her. I think yeah.
Yep, that spin was to look for. I totally get it. Good. Good nade. We're totally in the open here now. And we're totally in the open because we wanted to chase our nade and because we couldn't really deal with the tracer. Now, ideally, Shaggy here would deal with the tracer. That would be nice. Didn't happen. So, like, we look at this and go, hey, I'm doing this.
The objective is
I don't like that this is the case. This is reasonable. You're pushing yourself out when, no, the tracer like is annoying there, but you can, if you know where the tracer is, you can adjust yourself back. You can adjust yourself this way, sort of make the tracer come in a little bit. What you're doing is you're instead going, no, I'm just going to follow through the point. And this is like cool and all, but like, how do I put this? I hope Ashe doesn't change her mind and look this way. I hope D.Va doesn't change his mind and look this way. I hope Orisa doesn't shoot past my Reinhardt at me. Like, we're just totally in the open right now. And I totally get why. Tracer shepherded us here. Tracer was like, let me shoo you into the open, which is actually her doing her job. We probably didn't actually need to be that scared of that, though. I'm not saying disrespect the Tracer. I'm saying if you stay back sort of where you were cover-wise, even if you still go here and get this nade off, that's fine. We then think to ourselves, okay, where do we want to go? And it's probably not the very middle of the point. Like, the middle of the point is just not a very good place to be in general. So we stay here. We do that. We maybe still get our nade off from here, but then we're very much interested in, hey, I have my sleep dart to fight the tracer. I can fight my tracer with the weapon. If I have to scope in and take a shot to hit the tracer to drive her off, so be it. But if I hit her once or twice, she's going to leave. That's preferable to walking out into the middle of this point where opponents just aren't shooting at us, which is awesome, but not something we count on. And here's the other thing. You know there's a tracer in your general vicinity, and you use the nade. And I am good with this nade, because, hey, this nade hit 3 people, it got 2 purples, I am fine with this nade. Now you've used your nade and your sleep dart, and there's a tracer shooting you. You kind of put yourself in trouble, didn't you?
Right, but I guess my thinking was there's a Lucio right there, and I didn't want to lose the Ryan LOS with the Ryan and getting shot at. So I guess that was my thought. With what was going on.
Right, but this isn't a line of sight with the Ryan thing. This is that you're using both of your cooldowns on people that aren't tracer while there's a tracer on you, right?
Right. Okay.
So, like, now your cooldowns are sort of your best way to defend yourself as Ana, right? Like, your nade is sort of forgiving with its aim. It heals you, so it increases how long you last. It hurts the opponent. It's forgiving with the aim for hurting the opponent, so it's good for defending yourself. And your sleep dart, well, it's not particularly forgiving with the aim. Kind of one-shots people. It doesn't actually one-shot them, but if you hit someone with a sleep, a threat is dealt with. To otherwise deal with a sleep, you'd have to hit them with, like, 3 left clicks, right?
Right.
So your best tools for defending yourself when a flanker is on you sort of are your cooldowns. And you've now used both cooldowns offensively against other targets to basically help your Reinhardt, to help your front line, while a flanker's on you. And if I was that flanker, I'd go, oh, sweet, you're free now. Now Tracer, who is maybe paying you some respect, playing a little bit far away, hoping you'd miss shots, can just sort of blink in and shoot you from here, and, like, you can't win, right? Like, even if you just take shots at her, she can just be like, I do way more damage than you. There's no way. And you don't have any cooldowns. So that's what we're looking at. So I didn't want her to see me using both cooldowns like this. That just makes me too vulnerable. I could still have thrown that nade, but I was going to hold on to my sleep. And even if I didn't end up using my sleep on her, even if I ended up beating her with weapon play or driving her off with weapon play, part of what makes her blink when I'm paying attention to her is her concern that I could sleep her, for example. So that puts a lot more pressure on her. So not a big deal, but we do want to think about probably not using both of our cooldowns on the front line when a flanker's on us. And yes, we absolutely hope that Lucio would be fighting this flanker for us. And we might help him fight it, but yeah.
I got you.
And eventually she gets the job done.
Right. There you go. Well taken.
I'll rest when fighting is done.
Is that? Yeah, good. Sure. Okay, so we're looking at this. Who's winning this team fight right now? Can you tell?
I think it's about that we are.
Okay. Okay. Currently, they have control of the point, but you think you're winning the team fight. No problem.
Well, I mean, they're down to taking I guess their ashes down, I guess, and
Yep. So
their
here's the
weapons
thing.
down.
You're looking at tab. You're looking at this up top is sort of your equivalent to what in game you would do if you press. Sorry. Tab would be the PC control for it. I don't know what the console control, but if you brought up the
Oh,
score screen effectively, it would be telling you that, hey, this person hasn't yet spawned, the Echo and the Orisa haven't yet spawned. But there's actually a little more to it. If you've actually been tracking the feed, you would potentially know that, well, their Mercy actually is still missing, as well as their Orisa. And for you guys, you've actually only got your Lucio and your Reaper on point. Is anyone else really even near point?
yeah.
Right. So, like, okay, how's this going? Well, it's actually probably a 4v3 right now. If we count you, we're also going to count D.Va and Tracer. If we don't count you, maybe it's a 2v2 scenario. But if we do count you, it's a 4v3 and they have control. Do we really want to push into a 4v3 when they have control? Because that's a fight that we're more likely to lose than win. And as we're losing it, they're getting more cap percentage, right?
Okay.
So we're not in love with that. That said, I don't mind what you've done so far, but I start to mind now because now I see this Tracer. I can see through my teammates through walls, even if I can see the opponents, to know that there's only 2 of them there. And I'm going to go, okay, well, I have to fight this Tracer. Like, if I'm going to work my way back and help the team on the point, I have to fight this Tracer. Which you do. Nice hit.
Lights out.
Beautiful.
This is going
Not
to
quite. Oh, you got her. Okay. So that was a little bit dangerous, but I like it.
hurt. Lights out.
I like this sleep a lot, but it's actually a lot easier to sleep than nade her. Remember how I talked about how nade has a pretty generous hitbox?
Okay.
So it's a lot more reliable to go sleep, if you sleep someone, to shoot nade and then potentially shoot again, than it is to
Yeah.
nade then shoot. Do you understand why?
Because I thought when you nade them, it prevents them from healing themselves. So I thought you would do that first, right? Or,
Fair. So yes, it does prevent you. It does prevent them from healing. Tracer's recall is gonna shed it, and Tracer's only way to heal herself is to
oh, yeah, the
recall.
recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Um,
Yeah.
but generally, what you'd run into is I'm not expecting her to get heals here, and I'm not really expecting most people that you'd sleep in this sort of situation to get heals. You've also got sort of a recoil time between shots on your weapon. So if you shot your weapon, you're in a situation where if you shoot your weapon, there's a delay. It's more than half a second, less than a second. It's like 0.7, 0.8 seconds between shots for Anna. But you can hide that delay by using an ability. So, like, if it's going to take you, what, 0.8 seconds between shots, you could go shot, nade, which is going to cover some of those 0.8 seconds, and then shot again. And, like, that's just as fast. If you nade, shoot, I'm pretending that we need 3 hits to finish right here. You're in a situation where you nade, that we'll pretend that takes half a second, then you shoot, you've still got to wait that 0.8 seconds, and you didn't hide 0.5 of those 0.8 seconds with the nade. With me so far?
Right.
What you also run into is this Tracer isn't moving, right? So you can line up your shot easily for this first shot, whereas if you nade, that's again the easier hit for you. So you'd sort of like to get your shot in while the Tracer's not moving in a very easy shot, rather than nade and just trust that you're going to hit the shot. Like, it's easier to hit the follow-up nade than the follow-up shot. Still with me?
I got you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to have more success if you go for the shot nade here because
This is
this
going
is
to
great and you hit your shot and this is good. But again, what we'd usually do is this would be your third shot or your third hit. It would be shot nade shot here. But all
So
good.
shot made. Okay, got it.
Speed isn't everything.
And because you eliminated this tracer, that A evened up the fight, and B gave you a clean approach back to here. If you hadn't eliminated this tracer, you couldn't really walk back here, or at least drove her off. Okay, do I want you in the middle of the point like this?
No, you don't.
Okay, so you could be here. You could have said, no, I'm going to walk up and then play from up here. That would have
Right.
been fine too. I don't really want you having walked in the middle of the point like this because, like, if someone starts doing damage to you, if this BAP starts shooting at you, yes, the BAP's going to get eliminated by you, Hog, and Reinhardt first, but if he starts shooting at you, you're just counting on him not hitting a bunch of headshots to eliminate you. If he starts hitting headshots while you're here, you just go, nah, I'll wait, and then your team finishes him off, and then, or you has to swap to your team, and then you repeak and heal, finish him, whatever.
Locking down the attack.
And you're just sort of walking around the point a bunch like this when you even found your way over here. And oh, wait, you could just settle down over here and be ready to take your shots. Be ready to take your shots. Oh, someone starts shooting at you from there? Cool, I'll close the angle. I'll reopen it. I'll close the angle, rotate through the health back, and then deal with that, etc.
I have to get out of DPS mode
Shots find their mark.
over the Ana.
Well, no, because if you were on, like, McCree, I'd be telling you the same thing. If you're on McCree, I wouldn't be
yeah.
telling you to stand here. I'd be telling you to stand here,
That's
etc.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Ultimate is ready. You're powered up. Get in there.
Yeah, so you just got scared here. That's unfortunate.
Ultimate is ready.
Your Hog's fine. Your Hog's still got more than 200 HP there, and that, like, looks scary, don't get me wrong, and I get that you're low on shots here, so you're just worried about maybe Tracer's going to come in and finish him while you're reloading. But you can shoot your heal shot at your Hog. Is anyone else really in trouble besides your Hog right now?
No, not really.
Right, and is anyone, like, hard threatening your Hog right now? Like, is Hog getting shot at by Orisa, getting shot at by Tracer?
And he has a shield there. Yeah, it was more of a panic.
Yep.
Just, yeah.
All good.
You're powered up. Get in there.
We really want to use our nano when someone is actively pushing or getting pushed. We don't really want to use it just because, like, they're low. It's like, wait, no, there's a Winston in my face. There's a D.Va in my face. There's an Orisa that's, actually gotten into my team's face. There's a Tracer that's in on my Hog. Okay, let me nano. That sort of thing. Because just its heal value isn't really enough. It needs to heal and it needs to turn. So we want to be like, oh, the Tracer's in fighting my Hog, and my Hog gets nanoed, and this fight that this Tracer thought it was winning, now suddenly they're in trouble because the Hog is already engaged with them, because they'd actually engaged with that.
Actually.
If you just sort of nano them, most of the time the opponents will get smart and go, oh, well, I'm just not going to walk at them. I'm going to stay away until nano's over.
Oh, right. Where should I be, like, during this time? Like, should I be in that corner or like?
This is fine. You could be
this
here.
is my question.
If you had downtime, you probably would have worked your way up to up here and played sort of with this high ground or with this high ground, to be perfectly honest. If you didn't feel like you had downtime, yeah, you'd be playing around this. If you started taking damage from there and didn't like it, you rotate around here and you shoot in from here. You can peek out and drop nades. But, like, yeah, you're looking to go, hey, I can play from here or I can play from here if you didn't have time to rotate. If you had time to rotate, you'd be up here on the high ground. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right on.
Okay. And again, it's like, oh, okay, I can't see these people. I can only see this person. Okay, I'll fight with this person. I'm not going to open it and have, like, 3 people on my screen when I can settle for 1 opponent on my screen. I'm not going to have any people on my screen if what I need to do is heal Echo, as an example. Or if I'm playing from here, okay, if I'm taking offensive shots, so be it. If I'm taking heal shots, I'll do it like this, where people can't really see me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, you're just counting on your AD strength. Well, You're forward back strafe right now, actually, which is not amazing. Okay. Okay, so here we are, and I get this. You're looking at this and going, I want to help my Reaper. I want to help my Reaper. I want to challenge this. Now, I do understand that, but like, you've got 3 teammates back here. Should you be in front of your Reinhardt pushing a D.Va and Echo?
No, I shouldn't. But I guess in my mind, I was trying to, I guess, I
help
was trying
Reaper?
to help my tank. Help my tank, I guess.
Oh, help your tank?
I thought that was, no, there was, who that was there?
Sure, we can rewind to check. So here you are, you're doing this. Your Reaper pushed, or your Reinhardt pushed in. So
I
again,
don't know what.
your real spot to help would be from over here, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We push up. We're doing this, we're sort of trying to dodge the Ashe. And I think you just lose track of the fact that
Yeah, that's what it
your
was. Yeah,
Reinhardt
yeah.
has retreated back to here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But he has, and I don't really want to be here. Okay. It's a long time to not be Ono. Okay, so this is unfortunately one of those situations where you go, hey, this happens. Are the bad guys going to die or are the good guys going to live? Which is it going to be?
I saw the opportunity to take out the Mercy, so I thought that was a
Sure,
uh,
sure. The problem that you
play.
run into here is, here you are. When's the last time you saw your Reinhardt's health? So, like, right now, you see this
I thought he
happen.
was.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. So you're here. You haven't seen your Reinhardt in quite a bit. Like, you just took 3 shots at Mercy there, and I'm actually okay with that because the 3rd shot finished her off, but the problem that you run into is you actually even started this decision of I'm going to shoot Mercy when your Reinhardt is at 160 health, and I don't think you knew that he was anywhere near this low. Because again, if we
Oh,
go
wow.
back here, you're doing this, you're protecting yourself, absolutely appropriate to protect yourself. I don't care what Reinhardt's health level is while you're protecting yourself. Now, again, maybe you're protecting yourself from the self-destruct, so I don't care about my Reinhardt's health level. Now I care about my Reinhardt's health level, and it's also been like a good 6 seconds since I've seen his health level, right?
Right.
So now I'm like this, and he actually did a great job during those 6 seconds of not taking damage, but he's only got so much barrier that he can play with. He's only got so much that he can do, and now he gets eliminated. And you get their Mercy, which is great. I am not against you taking offensive shots to take out their Mercy. I am against you not seeing your Reinhardt's health for like 8 seconds when, you know, the last 2 or 3 of those you weren't under any pressure. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally does, sir.
Okay. All good.
An effective course of action.
You know, I still don't want you in the middle of the points. And you did have time to go, hey, I'm going to play from over here. And if I play from over here, I can use this as cover. I can use this as cover for either direction. And you can see what you want there, etc. All good.
Okay. Thanks.
So you're here, you go for this. I'm okay with that. I would try to throw that nade a little bit deeper. You threw that nade kind of shallow at your Reinhardt. We generally would have been like, hey, maybe we don't want to throw it deeper at the Diva or past the Reinhardt at the Diva, but even if we throw this nade a little more to the left, it's still going to get our Reinhardt, and it's got a chance of getting like this Tracer, this Orisa, etc., which we'd like.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the Diva Matrix can eat through the ground, correct? So
Abs-
will it eat this? Will it eat the splash or no? Not really.
Well, she has to eat it before it touches the ground. Once this nade has
Oh,
hit
okay.
something, it's too late for her to eat it. She has to eat it while it's still in nade format.
Got it.
Hide. You're going to be okay.
Okay, it hurts to be on point like this. Okay, so the way I want you to think about this is you're playing Koth, don't get me wrong. For the opponents to win the game, or pretty soon for the opponents to not lose the game, they're going to have to keep someone on point, right?
Right.
Do you want, for the opponents to take your team down, they're probably going to have to take you down pretty early in that cycle of taking your team down. Because you can't keep your team down through infinite damage. You can keep your team up through a fair amount of damage, right?
Really? Right.
So you want to make every player on the opposing team have to make the decision of, are they going to go to point to stop the game from ending, to try to flip it, whatever, or are they going to go to you to try to eliminate you so that they can then flip the point?
I got you.
So if you're on point, they can do both things at once. They can be like, I'm stopping the game from ending, and I'm trying to take you out. If you're back here, or if you're up here, they have to pick one or the other. And you love making it where they have to make devil's trades like that, where they have to be like, I have two bad options. That's what you want.
Got it.
Okay, so I don't know what the plan here was, if you didn't know it was weak or something, but you can't sleep the mech while it's breaking like that, so that's a little weird.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yep,
Okay.
no problem. Her mech just sort of persists a little bit, so like, at this point, the mech is destroyed, and it's just got a little destroy animation before Baby Diva shows up.
Barely.
Muchachero.
Personality module. Five, four, three, two, one. Round two. Capture the objective.
Your tanks are slow. Okay.
Nap time.
Beautiful. I don't know that I want to stay here. And I definitely don't want to drop. So,
Nap
like, you
time.
went up here, and you got your sleep dart off, and I'm okay with that. But we're kind of close to both the Sleeping Diva, the Ashe, and potentially their respawns. Now, hopefully your team is going to push in, so it's not a problem. Maybe it's perfectly fine to stay here. But if I don't know if my team is going to clear this or not, I might think about working my way back over here. There's not, however, a scenario where I go, hey, let me drop and run onto point. I'm either going to stay here, or I'm going to sort of work my way back over to here to influence the point from up here. Like, I can heal hog from here. I can drop fat nades into that group from here. Think of all the things I can do from up here. Whereas if I go to point, I have to worry about what are these guys going to do to me? And, oh shoot, now Ashe can see me and shoot me from here, etc. Like, I'll put this in perspective.
Being in
Okay. If you want to heal Reinhardt, you have to look this way. If you want to, let's do this. Here you are. So, if you would like to heal Reinhardt, you have to look this way. If you would like to heal Orisa, you have to look this way. If you would like to shoot at McCree or, who is that, Moira, you have to look this way. If you want to deal with Lucio, you have to look this way. If you want to deal with Diva, I guess you've got to turn around. If you want to deal with Ashe or figure out what's going on over there, you've got to look this way. If you want to heal your Echo, you've got to look this way. What if you're here? How much easier are your crosshair adjustments if you're standing up here?
Rolls easier.
Exactly. So like all of your threat is sort of in front of you. And it can change angles a little bit to open and close stuff, back up if they start shooting at you, whatever, so that when you back up, obviously they can't hit you anymore. But like you've now walked yourself into this situation. You're a support. You like having lots of targets to pick between. You'd like to have as many of your friendly targets as possible to choose from for putting your heals into, as well as the option to put damage into a couple enemy targets. Maybe not all those enemies able to see you, but the option to open the angle so that you can see them. But if we run into the point, it's just harder.
I'm under attack.
Oh boy. Saved him, good. I'm worried about you getting shot because if he can be seen, you can be seen. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And again, you're on this point, and I'd really like you to be working your way back to at least here, where you've at least got the option to change to go, oh, that Ashe is shooting from there. I don't like that. Fine, I can influence the battle from here type thing. And now let me do a quick peek and take a shot at her, or whatever the case may be. Good.
Keep out of my way. You're powered up. Get in there.
So, similar thing here, where we look at this,
You're
and I
powered
see
up.
this
Get in
Nano.
there.
Is your Reinhardt really have anyone in range that he can swing at right now?
No, not really, but I guess there was that turret I was worried about, and I saw that cross, so I was like, okay, I guess I panicked now.
Yeah, no, I get it. You have plenty of shots left. Your Reinhardt probably has shield left. Look how much barrier your Reinhardt has left. So,
Oh,
like,
okay.
he's probably okay. He's probably not actually in danger of going down here. If you had heard his barrier break, maybe, but he's probably okay. If he was totally surrounded, maybe, but if he was totally surrounded, he'd probably also have a target in swing range, which would make this a better Nano. So, like, we want to be careful about our Nanos just because people are low health, our Nanos just because we feel like we've fallen behind. We really want to Nano people when they have opponents in their effective range. Maybe that's because opponents engaged on them. Maybe that's because they engaged on opponents. But that's really what we're looking for. We can take advantage of the heal aspect, don't get me wrong, but it really wants to be heal aspect plus they're in an effective range. Because now, I mean, Moira shouldn't be running at him. Moira has a death wish apparently, but hey.
Right.
Which, she was resetting, but hey.
Thank you.
Okay, we're just totally in the open. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. So she just used her fade. That means she can't really clear your nade. She can't really get away anymore, right? Do you know which abilities Moira has? What her two abilities are?
All right, the fade, and the ball and everything. So yeah, what point well taken? I should have hit her with a nade because she wouldn't be able to get out of it or what have you. Is that
Right.
the
Right. Basically, it's like, hey, if you have nade and there's an easy nade, like D.Va's not going to eat a nade if you throw it at her. You kind of just want to be like, let me get my ability power off. That's going to help my team eliminate her. It's a pretty big deal. It's going to not let the orb work for her to heal herself. Yeah, let's just nade her and get her taken care of pretty quickly here.
got it.
Because now she got fade back and she's probably going to get out. And I bet you if you naded her that your Roadhog and Reinhardt would have finished her. Like, they did do damage to her. you tried to do damage to her too, but she's down to half health. If you hit her with that nade, she'd probably be eliminated right now. Not a big deal. Okay. Now I'm again gonna get a little micro here.
Sure, go for
At
it.
this point, the D.Va's probably not going to turn around, so you could either nade or sleep her. Like, we were worried about the D.Va when she was boostering in our direction because it's really easy for her to DM us, but it would be harder, especially on controller, for her to 180 and eat a nade or a sleep right now. So, once she's sort of turned away from us like this, we're happy to go. We'd sort of like her to be asleep or naded because, I mean, if we can get her dealt with, that lets us use our abilities freely, right?
Right.
Okay.
You're going
Just instant sleep.
to heal up.
Too slow. Totally get what you're worried about here. Totally get
I
it.
remember this. I remember this. I was trying to sleep him and I missed it. I heard the sound cue and I was looking for him and then I was gone.
Your crosshair's right on him. It hurts so bad. Like,
I know.
oh.
I remember this. So it was so tough to swallow.
Okay.
I apologize to my team. Like right after this happened, this is so horrible.
All good.
Like right there.
All
Yeah.
good. But I'm also going to point out, if you'd missed your sleep, you were doomed. If you don't sleep him immediately, you're doomed. If you'd been positioned, say here, and you miss your sleep, you just go like that. If you'd been positioned here and you miss your sleep, you just go like that. Here, if you miss your sleep or don't get your sleep off in time, you just die, right?
Yeah. Got
Okay.
it. It's so tough to see again. Oh my god.
It's all good.
This is much better than Cabana on the beach.
You could nade and leave, but you can't stay.
Rendezvous
Yeah.
at my position.
There we go.
Going free.
Okay. Right idea.
Scratch, you'll be fine.
Again, we didn't have to drop. We could have played from up here. If we do drop for some reason, this starts looking pretty good. It's like, hey, I have cover. I can close the angle, open the angle, all that shenanigans. But okay. No. Who are you worried about here? Who's in danger of getting eliminated?
Oh, I think that was a panic because I saw that all the barrage of bullets coming from
Sure,
other people.
those bullets are
I think that's-
scary, but your team is very healthy right now. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm fire. Lights off.
Sure.
You're going to be okay.
Okay. So, I see why people were concerned, like, oh, are you smurfing, etc. What they're worried about is you do have pretty good aim, especially your hipfire aim is going to be pretty good for the level that you are playing at, and that's what people are like, what's going on, etc. But your skill that is holding you back is definitely your positioning. You, like, are playing on point in Koth when there's not a strong enough need to. You can go play on point when, like, hey, your team's been eliminated and you're just stopping it from flipping in a losing fight, that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, that's fine. But we would much prefer to play on the high ground around the point, or even the low ground around the point with cover, than we would the point itself. And that's true on this point, and also on this point, where ironically we jumped to a time where we actually had reasonable positioning, as well as basically every other point. We don't really want to be on the point in Koth. We don't really, in general, want to be in the can I find a place that's not going to ticket me? There we go. We don't in general want to be in these places where we're just sort of in where they can go, hey, you're easy for us to fight. We can take advantage of the fact that we're sort of, the granny sniper there. We do have that sniper rifle. I'm not saying you need to scope in and take shots all the time, but you have the ability to play from further away, and we do sort of want to take advantage of that. We want to take advantage of our ability to not just be running, gunning in the middle of the chaotic brawl like that. We instead are going to go, I'm playing with cover a little further away. Oh, there's an Ashe up there. Let me take my scope shot, do it. Oh, the team's all fighting on the point. Cool, let me heal from here. Let me heal from here. I can drop nades so easily from up here too with my nice little arc. So like, we want to play with cover or high ground in mind. We don't want to just run and sort of gun around on the point. So like, this shouldn't happen. If we recognize that, wait, I'm just running around, we want to go, where's my nearest piece of cover and let me get to it. Like, our default play should be cover is available and maybe taking up a third of our screen, 40% of our screen. Even if it's not quite taking up that much of our screen, it's very quick for us to get by. Like, I want you to feel like I want cover as a security blanket. I want cover I don't feel comfortable without it. Like, I want you to think that way, because you sort of need to just sustain in some of these places for a while. I'm not saying you won't rotate and get a more aggressive position, but you want to have these cover spots rather than being running around the point. You with me?
I'm with you
Okay.
100%.
Perfect. So that's really going to be the biggest thing here. Is like having this cover, having this high ground, and then keeping yourself off the point. And that's going to be our big theme. Those are sort of different points, but that's like our big theme. It's going to be positioning. It's going to be have your cover, take high ground when it's available, don't fight on the point. All of those are good. But we're going to give you a little bit more because there's some more things to give you, and I'm thinking that we're probably not going to overload you by doing so. The first thing that we're going to give you is, second thing, depending on how we want to think about, is your nanos. We do want to adjust. You had a couple nanos, but you didn't really have any amazing nanos. With our nanos, we are either looking to combine for some sort of combo, like, oh, look, it's Nano Blades. That can be perfectly fine. Maybe it's a Nano Blossom, something like that. And when we do those when the other person has activated their Blade, their Blossom, their Tac Visor, whatever the case may be, those things if we're comboing. That wasn't applicable here. That wasn't a thing that happened here. Fine. But the reason I'm saying that, and I'm making a point of saying that, is it's actually the same thing, where we want to do it after the fight's already started, where let's say we're nanoing our Reinhardt when he's in an Orissa's face, or we're nanoing our Orisa when a D.Va is in their face, or something like that.
Mhm.
We're nanoing a Hanzo when a Winston has jumped on him. We're nanoing a Reaper when he's already in close to an opposing Reinhardt. You with me?
Yes.
And you're still going to get heal value because, like, if you nano, for example, an Orisa when a D.Va's in her face, that D.Va's going to have done damage to your Orisa, taken advantage of her strong close range damage, etc. And you're going to turn that fight with that nano and turn it from a situation that the D.Va thought was good to one that they thought that was bad. But it's after the start of the fight has already happened. We're not just trying to save people with nano from a heal standpoint. We're trying to save people that are actively in a fight that they're actually able to take with our nanos. Not people who have safely
Right.
gotten out of fights. Okay, cool. And then if I wanted to, I could go a little more into, you just sort of forgot about your abilities at some times, like you just had on this second map in particular for the second half. There were long stretches where you just let both of your abilities be off cooldown for pretty extended periods of time. But I would consider that much less important than your positioning, and then I'd go nano next. And what I mean by that is like, hey, you could have slept that D.Va in the back. You could have thrown a nade at the Ashe that was running away. You could have done you could have thrown a nade at that Moira. Like, you just weren't really getting ability value, and your ability value tends to be higher than your rifle value on opponents. So, like,
I have a,
go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want you to lose your thought. You can go ahead.
Okay. So when it comes to those, you sort of want to, I'm not saying you want to need to get them all on cooldown all right away all the time, but you do need to get value out of Ana, and that's going to be a, hey, let me get some of these used. And again, if you don't necessarily want to use both right in front of a tracer when that tracer's jumping on you, but when it
Right.
comes to fighting people, you're in a situation of, let me get one out there. And you actually end up in a situation where at this level, what you generally do is you'd pick, I'm going to use my nade offensively and I'm going to defend myself with sleep dart. And so I'm going to sort of always have my sleep dart to defend myself unless I see something that I need to shut down like an ult, and then it's just a good enough cause that I don't care if a tracer or a doomfist, whatever, jumps me. I shut down attack visor. I shut down to this, or I tried to shut down a whole hog, or whatever the case may be, and that was fine. Or what you do is you go, I'm going to use my nade whenever I see a nade opportunity, and then when my nade is 4 seconds away from cooldown, I now have permission to look for a sleep dart. And if I find a sleep dart in
Okay.
those 4 seconds, that's fine with me because it means that I'll have less than 4 seconds of time where I don't have an ability to defend myself. And then if I need to defend myself with nade, no problem. And then when my sleep dart is like within 4 seconds of cooldown, let me look for a nade to use type thing. You sort of see where I'm going there?
Yeah. You answered my question. So yeah,
Sure,
there we
sure. And there's absolutely more advanced ways to do that. There's ways you do that where you do end up with both cooldown things on cooldown, but the opponent doesn't notice because it's like either, hey, I did this and then we eliminated this person and then I went and did this 4 seconds later and they're both on cooldown, but they didn't see me use them super close together. I used them on very different portions of the battlefield, or I used them both, but I hit them both. I got a lot of value out of them, and we've kind of won the fight. Like I'm an Ana without cooldowns, but we're up 6v4. I think I'll be okay, type thing, because we got so much value out of my cooldowns. You're not there yet. I'll just say that for that
go.
last one.
Sure, no worries. It's all good.
Okay. Okay. So again, I want your big focus coming out of this though to be positioning, and I want you to be
Right.
working on that because that will apply to most heroes that you're going to be playing in Overwatch, where it's like, hey, I want to have my cover. I want to know it at all times. I want to have high ground when it's available. The get off the point thing won't apply to all of them, but it will apply to your flex supports.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions, comments, things you'd like to get into here?
No, I think you covered all of it for this session with her. This has been great. I really appreciate it. Like
Oh, no problem, man.
the concepts are like a lot more clearer. Just to hear it and to have it like glaring in my mind, like as I'm playing, like I can literally hear your voice saying, "Oh no, don't do this or don't do that or whatever," while I'm playing. So just to have the concepts in my like brain or like just to hear it audibly, it's a great help. You know what I mean?
Awesome, awesome. I love to hear it. I'm a voice in another person's head at this point. It
There
continues
we
to
go. There we go.
hopefully giving
Awesome.
good
Yeah.
advice, which is giving, good advice. But hey. Okay,
Yeah. Awesome.
cool. Then I think we'll go ahead and call this one here.